Happy Thanksgiving, friend, and welcome to another episode of Kabrina Unscripted. I'm going to keep this one short because I know that you're spending time with your family. You're probably getting ready to go to whatever shindigs are for today, but I really wanted to talk to you about gratitude. I know you're probably thinking, man, Kabrina, this is like last minute. But how many people we get past Halloween and all of a sudden it's Christmas and we completely forget about Thanksgiving. We forget about what this season is really about and the reminder that it is for us to slow down and be grateful for the things that are all around us. And if you're like I've been in the past, you're probably going, oh man, she's going to tell us to go gratitude journal. She's going to tell us to grab that pen and paper and write down all the things that we're grateful for. And I'm not, because I'm very guilty of saying that I'm going to journal and then I don't, because it's hard to start new habits like that. And when somebody says, well, I just journal every day and I do this and it makes me feel so much better. Absolutely it does. But I'm going to be the person who's going to tell you the brass tacks of let's work our way up to those things. Gosh, I have all these new ideas and I'm going to jump into them and I'm going to do them and it's going to be amazing. And then I fall flat on my face and then go, oh, Kabrina, look at what a failure you are. See, you started that new thing and you didn't do it. Look at all those things that you could have had accomplished had you stuck with that thing that you said that you were going to do. Not realizing that just like a plant, it's one tiny little growth at a time that then gets the plant instead of wanting the done thing as if we're going through the drive-through in everything in our life. So before we get into a couple of ways to be grateful without journaling, I want to talk about the benefits of gratitude. Because as somebody who was like, oh, everybody just says you should be grateful, you should do these things. And trust me, I've gone through my fair share of craziness and trauma and divorce and all the crazy over the last 2 years. And so there was definitely moments when I wasn't grateful for anything. I was like, life sucks. I hate all of this. I'm sad. I just want to stay in bed. And you might be there right now too. And your feelings are completely valid. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you. And I'm here to bounce those things off of if you need it. You can always schedule a free call with me or pop a comment into any of the platforms that you see this video. I'm happy to answer those either there or on a live together. But let's talk about why we should be grateful. Because the science proves that all of these crazy things that we hear that we tend to write off as more woo-woo is actually something that science backs. So when we're grateful for things and when we practice being grateful and building that muscle of gratitude, it can improve our mood. It reduces anxiety and depression. It fosters resilience. It supports mental health. You have better sleep, stronger immune system, lower blood pressure, and it boosts self-esteem. And there was a study that showed that people who did gratitude journaling, because they didn't try anything else in the study, they did gratitude journaling, it actually decreased inflammation in heart patients. And those were things that they were like, okay, well, this is part of this life expectancy piece. So I don't know about you, but I don't plan on expiring anytime soon. And so even if gratitude is something that's really difficult, making it like the exercise that you absolutely hate doing. For me, that was running for a long time. And then just doing it and going, oh, this isn't that bad. Oh, maybe there are things that I'm grateful for. And when I started on this journey, there were days that I'd wake up and I'd go, I'm grateful that I took a breath because that's all I can be grateful for today. I'm grateful that I took one step out of my bed. I'm grateful that I remembered to brush my teeth this morning. I'm grateful that I got my kids off to school and we caught the bus on time. And it was like tiny little every day you do the thing, it gets part of your routine. And so we forget about them. We forget that we're doing all these things. We forget that we're making these moves in our life because they just go back to our subconscious and we're just in the motions of it. And so taking the time to, if you're in that space, writing yourself a list. And I in a really low part of my life the last 2 years, I saw a short video and the guy was like, you have to put your pride aside. and write down every tiny little thing that you need to do, as minuscule and silly as it sounds. So I used to write on my to-do list and have a checkbox on my phone. Get out of bed, pull the covers up, brush my teeth, wash my face, take a shower, put my makeup on. And I would check off each of those things because it started to build up the stamina to go, oh, I can do this. Oh, this isn't as difficult as I thought. And obviously, if you are in this space, please find a licensed therapist that you can walk through these things with as well. Because no coach, consultant, anybody like that is going to be able to walk you through those in the way that a therapist can. But let's talk about ways that we can practice gratitude besides journaling, because I don't want to overwhelm you with things. I want you to have these things that you can do now, today, without anybody even knowing that you're doing them. So the first one that I want to talk about is actually a gratitude walk. So as you're with family, as you're doing things, as you're in the midst of the crazy, and you just need a breath, taking a breath and going, hey, I'm going to go get some air real quick. Take a walk around the neighborhood. Take a walk down the street and then back up. And find things around you. It doesn't have to be the thing that you just left that you can be. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful that mom's here. I'm grateful. It doesn't have to be those people. It can be if you want it to be. But think about just the things that are around you. What can you see, taste, touch, smell that's around you in this moment? And maybe there's a pretty flower. Maybe the leaves fall in a way that looks like sparkles. Maybe you see a little stream coming down the street from the rain, or somebody watering their grass. Those can be the simple of, oh, that was really, I'm grateful that I saw that. Or somebody walks by you and says hi, and you're like, oh, I'm grateful for that interaction. And just finding those tiny little things, and just in yourself. No writing down, no nothing necessary. The next one is a gratitude letter. What would writing a letter to somebody that you're grateful for look like? Just a couple of lines. Even if there's somebody who has helped you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and you're like, thank you so much for the content that you create. It makes my day. Or it's the thing that brightens it up. It's the thing that I always share. Maybe it's something that's funny. Maybe somebody makes a meme. And like marketing millennials, maybe they make a meme and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so relatable. Thank you for sharing that, because I felt like I was the only one who felt that way. That's a way for you to be grateful. It doesn't have to be a really drawn out letter. If you have somebody that comes to mind when I say that you want to write a letter to, absolutely. But I also want you to think about, what if you wrote a gratitude letter to yourself? As high performers, as people who are at the top of their game, as people who are self-development junkies, doing the next best thing, trying to make themselves the best version of themselves that they can be, a lot of times we forget to thank ourselves for the things that we're doing, for the fact that you are doing amazing things. And it's okay for you to be tired. It's okay for you to take a break. It's okay to take a breath and step back, because you continuously pushing is not going to get you where you want to go. It's the idea of, how do I thank myself, but also give myself grace to take a break? You taking a break is not quitting. It's take a break, don't quit. So what would a letter of gratitude to yourself look like? And maybe you just think about, what would that look like? And I encourage you, between the rest of this weekend and next week, to sit down and jot down a couple of sentences of why you're grateful for why you're you. Because that's going to shine a lot of light onto the things that you're wanting to do this coming year. And the final one is a gratitude jar. So as somebody who struggles with journaling, sometimes I like to write down little things. So I keep sticky notes and I cut them in half so that I have a bunch of them right here. And just writing down something that you're grateful for. Oh, that was a really cool conversation. I'm really grateful for having a conversation with Austin. Fold it up, stick it in the jar. And then on those days when you're like, I'm having a hard time with this gratitude thing, opening that jar and going, oh, okay, these are some things that I am grateful for. When I started doing this, I was in customer service years and years ago, and it is a thankless job most of the time. And a lot of times people are mad at things that have nothing to do with you, that are completely out of your control. And so I had a manager who was like, every time you get a good review or somebody gives you a testimonial or they are like, thank you so much for your help, that was amazing, screenshot it, stick it in a file, screenshot it, stick it in a file. And so I started to do that. And then on those days when you're like, I'm not good at anything, I can't do this anymore, I hate doing this, I hate people, peopling is not my favorite, you can go back to that file and go, actually, these are the moments that I'm doing this for. This is the thing that I'm doing. Here's how I'm doing this. And so as you go about your Thanksgiving, I want to encourage you to ask, what are you grateful for? What does this look like as we move through Thanksgiving and into Black Friday? And for those of you who are having deals and going, oh my gosh, I need to go finish those last couple of things so that I can click the save button so that that cart's ready. I feel you. I can empathize. And I also want to invite you into my own course called Story-Driven Growth Formula. This course is going to help you turn your message into momentum that scales your personal brand or your business if you're an entrepreneur. And it also helps you connect and convert towards what your goals are. So if you're an entrepreneur, converting those people who are following you into actual money and not just followers. And for my personal brand people, how do I show who I am and show up with who more than just my resume on LinkedIn? This is going to help you do all of those things in a way that's just not fluffy story. It's going to be driven by data, how you feel about what's happening, and working this into your life versus creating a system that we want to shove you into. And that's really a passion of mine, especially as a single mom of 5. I want to make sure that this works for you versus you working for it. Because if you're one of my entrepreneurs, that's not why you started a business. If you're one of my corporate leaders who's trying to move up in your corporation, that's not why you're doing this, is to have more things on your plate to do. As a founding member of this course, it's going to be $497, and it will be starting December 9th. And if you join as a founding member now, you're going to get an additional complimentary one-on-one call with me where we're going to sit down and map out your 2025. What is this going to look like for you? How are you going to get to the goals that you want to see? What does that content calendar for you look like so that you can hit the ground running in January and move the needle in your life, in your business, or in your personal brand in a way that you've never done before? Because we're going to be looking at not just, hey, here's the things to do, but we're also going to be looking at the numbers and what works for you. Because if you've been in this space for any period of time, you know that things are constantly changing. And something that I teach you today might be different a week from now, might be different in 6 months from now. But let's learn the real base properties of how to communicate with people in a way that draws them in so that you can do it over and over again, not caring what the algorithm thinks or how many people are following you or how you are creating the content, because you're going to know how to communicate on a way that is human-based, not algorithm-based. So if you're interested in that course, go ahead and drop me a DM or put a comment below this video, and I will send you the information on how to enroll. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow for Kabrina Unscripted.